Till now, we have implemented various conditional statements in practice by developing this mortgage calculator over here. Do you ever wonder what will happen if we run this program and instead of an integer number, if we put by mistake a string for a salary question over here? So what will happen in this case? So if I run our code, so instead of integer number, if I put, for example, any letter, T letter over here and hit enter, you'll see that in this case, I get a trace back and I get an error which is value error, which makes sense because we are trying to get T from the console and convert it to integer number, which is not possible because T is a string and it cannot be converted to integer. So this situation is not desirable. And if this happens somewhere out within our actual program, in this case, as soon as the error happens, it does not actually continue to the next lines. So the lines that are after this input function over here will be ignored. So they are not going to be carried out because the error occurred before these lines over here. So in our case, as you can see, our program stuck over here. So it asks what's your salary over here. Then after this one, these lines that comes from this input function are ignored. So they're not being carried out over here. So our program stuck over here. So how can we deal with the errors in our program? So this is a good point to start thinking about the errors because in the future we will come across a lot of errors. In the first section of this course, we have talked about different types of errors. But these types that we have learned are general types of errors. But in reality, we can face lots of errors that we are going to learn during this course. So to deal with errors in Python, we use try and catch conditional statements. What we do over here is we catch these errors. So this is a conditional execution structure built in Python to handle these types of expected and unexpected errors called try and except. The idea of try and except is that you know that some sequence of instruction may have a problem and you want to add statements to be executed if any error occurs. These extra statements are ignored if there is not any error. The extra statements that we are going to write in the except block are ignored if there is no any error. So in generally, you can think of try and except feature in Python as an insurance policy on sequence of statements. So it's ensuring that our program is not going to stuck. It's going to do something if you face any problem. So when something goes wrong, in that moment we catch that exception. It does not have to fail catastrophically. We can actually fare more gracefully and we can decide to do something else when the error occurs. Here's what the code looks like when we are dealing with these exceptions over here. So we have a try, except, else, and finally keyword over here. There are 4 keywords that are really important when it comes to handle the errors. Now let's get started with the first keyword. Now the first keyword is try keyword. So it comes for a block of code where you are executing something that might cause an error. So basically you are trying to execute a piece of line. In most cases it probably works, but sometimes it might not work. So for example, in the case of mortgage calculator, we are executing the input function. In most cases we are going to get the integer number, but by mistake if someone enters string, then in this case we are going to get an error. So this means that this part of code in most cases will probably work. Then the next step is to define except block. So this is the block of code you want the computer to execute if there is an exception. So if something goes wrong, then we are going to carry out this piece of code over here. So in case of mortgage calculator, if someone enters string instead of the integer for the salary, in this case we are going to execute this part saying that, for example, please enter integer number, or we can say that there was an error in our code over here. Now then we are going to continue to the else keyword. So this allows us to find some code to execute if there were no exception. So if you try this thing that we have over here, which might fail, but actually it did not fail, you succeeded and there were no any problems, well in this case you are going to do whatever inside this else block over here. So in case of mortgage calculator, for example, if you develop proper mortgage calculator, in this case, in the else block, after doing everything, you can send an email to the user about their final result of mortgage calculator. And finally, we have a finally keyword over here, which is basically just a block of code to carry out no matter what happens. So it does not matter if this thing you tried failed or succeed. It does not really actually care. So this part of code will execute anywhere. So this basically used in the softwares when you are just clearing the cache and deleting the everything at the end. So in our case, in case of mortgage calculator, we can just printing out saying that thanks for using our calculator over here. Now let's see how can we use try and accept block in practice. So we are going to use it in the mortgage calculator to make our calculator a lot safer. So this is our mortgage calculator. So as we mentioned, so if we put as a salary string number over here, it's going to cause an error. Now we know that this is the line of the code that causes error. So after this line of code, the other lines will not be executed. So what I'm going to do over here is I'm just going to copy this line of code from here and pass it in different files separately to make things more clear. Then we are going to come back and implement try and accept block for this mortgage calculator over here. Now here I have passed this line of code over here. So if I run it and put as a string over here, for example, R, and hit enter, you'll see that here we are getting an error. So I'm just going to include this part of code inside try and accept block. So what I'm going to do over here is first I'm going to write try keyword. Then after try keyword, we need to put colon over here. Now after putting colon, if I hit enter, you'll see that the cursor comes to the indentation level. So this means that this line of code should be located at this indented level over here. So I'm just going to put it over here as indented over here. Then after doing so, we need to provide accept block. Now take into account that you can skip else and finally keywords, but you cannot skip except keyword when you write try over here, because in this case if I run our code, you will see that it says that we have a syntax error over here. So this means that we have to write except block also when we are writing try. So in this case, it's going to be the same level with the line of code that we have inside try block. So that's why I'm just going to put at the same indentation level print statement like this. There was an error. Now in this case, if I run our code, you'll see that it's asking our salary. So if I put, for example, for salary 20 and hit enter, you will see that nothing happens because this is executed successfully. But instead of 20, if I put some characters over here, for example, A, and hit enter, you'll see that in this case, it's coming over here saying that there was an error. So this means that whenever we have an error for this line of code over here, it's going to skip this one and it's going to continue to the accept block over here. So that's how try and accept block work in case of Python. Now we have talked about else and finally statement. So after accept block, we can put else statement like this. So this means that whenever this part of code is executed successfully, we can use it inside else statement over here. So as you remember, we were checking for the eligibility of a person for mortgage. So we can write it over here like this. If salary is greater than 2000, in this case we were printing you are eligible. Otherwise, we were saying that you are not eligible. So in the else statement, I'm just going to put quickly, you are not eligible. So as you can see, whenever we are writing this if condition over here, we are writing as a nested if condition after else statement over here. So after else, the first if condition over here will be at the same indentation level that we have the code inside except and try block over here. Then it's obvious that after if condition, these print statements will be indented inside this if else statement over here. Now if I run our code one more time, if I enter character and hit enter, you will see that it says that there was an error. Otherwise, if I enter integer number, you will see that in this case it says that you are not eligible because I have entered 20 over here. So this part of code was successfully executed. Then it continues to the else block over here. So inside this else block over here, it is checking that if the salary is greater than 2000, it says that you are eligible. Otherwise, it will say that you are not eligible over here. So as you can see, with this, we have successfully implemented else block of try and accept statements over here. Now at the end, we are going to implement finally block. So finally keyword also will be located at the same indentation level with try, accept, and else statement. So we are going to put finally with the colon. Then at the end, we are going to print out saying that thanks for using our calculator. So as we mentioned before, this part of code will be executed no matter what happens over here. So if this part of code is failed or not, finally statement will be executed. So if I run our code, and for example, as a salary, if I enter 3000, you'll see that it says that you are eligible, and at the end, it's printing out thanks for using our calculator. So instead of, for example, integer number, if I put character over here, hit enter, you'll see that it says that there was an error and thanks for using our calculator. So as you can see, this part of code is executed no matter what happens in our case. So if we go back to our mortgage calculator, so we can execute our code over here like this. So first it's printing out welcome to our mortgage calculator. So in this case, we are not going to have any problem. Then we are going to put try block like this. So if I hit enter, it's going to be located at the indented level. So I'm just going to put it like this. So then we are going to put except block over here. So after getting the salary, I'm going to put except block. So here I'm just going to print for exactly for this error. So we are going to put enter an integer number. Then after doing so, we need to ask our program to do something. So what can I do over here is we can ask from a user one more time for their salary by saying that you have to enter an integer number. So if I just copy this part of code over here and paste it over here one more time, you will see that in this case it's going to ask from a user their salary one more time if they entered some string character over here. Now in the future we are going to learn that we can write our except block for a specific errors. Now this is advanced topic, so we are going to cover it in our upcoming lectures. Now here you just need to take into account that we are using except block for any error over here. Then after getting the salary, we can put rest of these codes that we have written over here inside else block. So this means that if this part of code is successfully executed, in this case we are going to continue to the else block. Now in the future you are going to include all these part of codes inside this try and except block, but for explanation of the try, except and else blocks, I'm just going to put it inside else. So after else we are going to put colon. So I'm just going to select all this code from here and put all of them as indented level. So if I click tab button, so it's going to indented all this line of code inside this else statement over here. Now at the end we can put finally keyword and saying that thanks for using our calculator. So with this we have successfully implemented try and except block for this mortgage calculator over here. Now if I hit enter, now in this case as you can see, first it's greeting us, then it's asking for our salary, which is located inside try block over here. So if I enter 3000, you'll see that it's continuing to this part of code over here saying that you are eligible for mortgage. Then it's asking for our credit score. So this part of code is successfully executed. That's why it continued to the else part of code over here. As a credit score, if I put 800 and hit enter, it's going to ask our disability. So in this case, I'm just going to put no and hit enter. You see that it's saying that the final interest rate, which is coming from here, is 6%. Then at the end, it's executing the final part of try and except block over here. So which is thanks for using our calculator. Now if I run our code one more time, and instead of entering integer number over here, if I enter any character, you'll see that it's saying that enter integer number. So it's executing this part of code and it's asking for our salary over here. So for example, if I insert 3000, you see that without going to else statement over here, it's continuing to the final statement, because else part of this code will be executed if we have not any error over here. So in this case we have error over here, but it continued over here and asking our salary, and without continuing this part of code, it's continuing to the final statement over here. Now it's possible to create this part of code as a separate function and then put it over here when we have even error, and if we corrected it, it can execute this part of code. But this is not the scope of this lecture. Now in our upcoming lectures, when you have reached the intermediate level of this course, you can handle such cases in which you have exception and you are correcting this part of code, and you can continue to this part of code over here as well. So with this, we have come to the end of this lecture. So in this lecture, we have explained try and except block in Python. So hopefully everything is clear about try and except block. So see you in the next lecture.